Welcome back to Satisfactory. We're on the 1.1 experimental branch, which I did not plan on playing, but I got addicted to the elevators after trying them out, and then I couldn't stop playing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be checking out the elevators, and by checking out I mean doing the other one, because I did one of the two, and I will be basically doing a tour of how they work and all that. And also we are chilling in the global illumination noise hell. Because this is an Unreal Engine issue, not a game issue, so there's nothing you can really do about it. You can modify Lumen to improve this, but I don't want to start doing manual modifications because then it's just a pain to keep up with. So here are the elevators. They've got a maximum height. Well, they're supposed to have a maximum height of 200, but you can't do 200 or they break. They separate in two and then break. The actual max height is 196 meters, so I need 3 entire elevators to get to the top of the base. But I guess I can demonstrate with this tiny one here, which is just for a future area down here for this area. I need to clear a lot of these blueprints, so that's a problem for another time, or maybe even later in this episode if I'm doing an entire episode on elevators. But essentially they do have a call button, which I guess makes sense, but for some reason I didn't expect them to. And then you can basically have a million floors, and then you can customize them, obviously. I do wish you could do more than just the monochrome icons, but it is what it is, and then you just select whatever button you want for the place you want to go, and then it just brings you there. I mean, it's an elevator, it's not that complicated. Obviously there's elevator music, there's 9 different songs, I have them all on shuffle, and yeah, that's that. They're just glass elevators. They're under transport. There are 10 coupons in the awesome shop, and they are under transport in the inventory. So you have to do a personal elevator, and then you have to put in the stop floors manually if you want more than 2 stops. And yeah, they just kind of work. You need to have at least one of the stops powered, and then they just kind of work. It's as simple as that. They close up and then they go to whatever floor you select, and you can customize it all you want. It's great. For example, I got this one, which has all of the things. Obviously they're all named, at least most of them are. So here, if I go to advanced aluminum and basic power storage, that is floor 2, which is right here. It has the power storage and the advanced aluminum. I obviously still need to rebuild a lot of this. I need to move these blueprint designers. I might make an area just for blueprints. Heck, I might move them over to the desert in that giant area that I haven't done anything with, because there's still a bunch of free space over there, and just move all my blueprints over there, because blueprints don't save on Steam Cloud still, so I do need to have these present in the world at all times. I can't just get rid of them, because if I ever need them again, I need to be able to have them. But one nice thing is, as you can see here, well, see, I don't have any of my blueprints because I reset Windows. So, see, it's going to come in clutch. I'm going to need to copy all of these again. Oh yeah, it's actually a good time to mention vertical nudging. We finally got vertical nudging. Although, unfortunately, for all you guys with 60% and no number pad keyboards, it's page up and page down like everyone expected it to be. So you guys are just screwed. You'll have to remap it or not use it. So have fun with that, you losers.
While I admire your investment in your work, invest it somewhere more productive.
And there's those Ada messages too. Ada has a bunch of new messages for just random various things. I'm trying to remember, is this even how this was? I don't remember if the 3 was at the top or bottom. I'm fixing my blueprints right now. I'm getting all distracted. But yeah, Ada has a bunch of new messages. I guess since I just saw it, I may as well highlight it. I don't have all of them yet, but I've gotten a few. As you can see, they've got a bunch of different ones. So when I built a constructor, she said I would have done it differently. There's a bunch of stuff like this one, which is my favorite so far.
I don't care how your factory looks, just make it efficient.
So yeah, there's a bunch of new lines. I'll probably eventually get all of them. I don't know how many there are. But there's a bunch of new lines for just building various things. I still have the hypertubes, just I want to use the elevators because they're cooler. I'm just leaving the hypertubes as a backup. Worst comes to worst, I still got the old trusty hypertubes. Next up, we got Tier 9 automation. Obviously, there's none of this done. I still have not done Tier 9 automation. I'm probably going to come back around to it some point later. I've just done too much automating right now. I just don't feel like doing any more. So that's gonna be something for later whenever I feel like automating stuff again. I still have to do all of the planning for that, so it's not gonna be anytime soon. And then this last one brings us to the last height for this elevator, because obviously the max length becomes a problem. I don't think I've showcased any of this, but I've been working on getting rid of the conveyor lifts for another thing that I don't think I've showcased either. So I've been slowly getting rid of all of these and then rerouting them along the wall, which, yes, this took about 100 hours, don't ask. I've been playing this a lot, even though I haven't been recording. And then if we go all the way up, it brings us to the item showcase floor. This is a very experimental floor I've been working on. In fact, it's the entire reason why I have to move the conveyor lifts. It's nowhere near done, but my goal for it is to have every single item in the game on display, or at least every single significant item on display. I haven't showcased this, at least I don't think I have, unless I just did randomly for no reason whatsoever. This area still has a lot of issues. The main one is lighting. I'm gonna have to find a better way to light up this area because it's just atrocious. These floodlights are cool and all, but they just don't work enough. I'm probably gonna have to like make disco balls or something out of the wall-mounted floodlights or something like that to just get this area lit up, because there's just no good way to do it. But yeah, this is a very experimental area. It's going to have basically everything, as you can see. Here's all the ores. I don't know if I've done any of the... Oh, I have. I've done ingots as well. And then, yeah, you know, there's the rest that still needs to be done. This is taking just forever to build, though, so I've kind of taken a break from that and to obviously do elevators, as I've said. But we can keep going up, however. If we take this elevator now, and we can go to the upper lift, which is the top of the lift bit, you know, obviously. Hence the name. You got the lower lift and the upper lift. So once you get up here, you get to the upper lift, which this is the first one I've done a bit of decorating since putting in the elevators. So this is the top where it goes back to the original conveyor lifts. And I made this cool little bridge with road barriers to make the lights a bit less aggressive, but I can't make miracles happen. So it's still a bit dark. This is where the other elevator is going to go, obviously, from the giant gaping hole in the floor. But yeah, I think this area looks okay, considering it's not really an area you're meant to go around in. It's just an area that I want to be able to get to easily for as I continue building this. And then the next one is the storage room maintenance. This is one of my favorite areas. I kind of just casually spent some time doing this throughout the day today. I think this is one of my more favorite areas I've done so far. Once again, a lot of issues with the lighting, but it is what it is. The lighting in the game is still very restricting. But I made this nice little area, updated a lot of this area, so it's a bit less of a mess. I tried to clear out a lot of the garbage foundations. I cleared up a lot of the wiring. There was just wires just going everywhere, and it was just impossible to follow. So I cleaned it up a little bit. There's still some wires going up and down, but obviously some of this is important. And then I made sure to really highlight this wire, which is the one to turn off all of the awesome sinks if I ever want to start backlogging resources. And I basically made it just like an emergency freaking cut wire thingy, because I could, and it's funny. And then obviously stairs are broken. You still can't paint them properly. At least you can't put a pattern on them properly. They either just don't show up at all or just do the entire foundation, so that has to be fixed. I don't know when it's going to be fixed, probably never. And then obviously you got the roof, which is right up there because I haven't patched up all the holes yet because it's easier to just drop down. And then obviously you go all the way to the roof and it brings you to the hub, and then there's a few holes still left. And that's that, and then you can just go back up to the roof and go have fun, and then you look at a tree and the frame rate goes to hell. And that's that. That's basically everything I've done. I've just been enjoying the game, because that's what games are for, and there's apparently something new in the course tree. Yes, the priority merger. I don't know what it does. I don't even know if they announced this. I just knew it was coming. Prioritized to always be merged. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of obvious at what it would do. I can probably unlock it. Reinforced iron plates, where are you? There you go. Alright, let's unlock it. Might as well. I didn't even know it was in here, so I would have thought it was just in the regular stuff, but no, it makes sense because all the other splitters are in here too, if I'm not mistaken.
Priority merger unlocked. Useful for prioritizing between inputs to avoid eventual stoppage. If you have an issue with stoppage somewhere else, consult a physician instead.
There's a few new things. Obviously, there's the conveyor throughput, the conveyor hole walls, which have been redone a bit. There's the shelf unit, which I'm not going to get because I don't care. There's all the patterns, which I don't have enough tickets for, so I'm not going to prioritize. I believe there are a few more things. Yes, there's the structural cable pack and the beam expansion pack. And I think there's one more. Yes, the ventilation bundle. A lot of this update is decoration and just background improvements. Like there's new warning screens and all that at the start, which is kind of annoying, but whatever.
That strains and tires them to machines. It is their best achievement. Such challenges often include simple counting and short-term memory, which the conveyor throughput monitor specializes in. Simply add one to any belt, and it will tell you its throughput after only 1 minute.
I don't know what they did to the trophies. I don't know if these ones are affected by it too. Yeah, for some reason the trophies are really blurry. And like, they almost look always in like LOD. So they're low resolution model. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just DLSS being funky because I do have it on right now. But they look way worse than they did in 1.0, so I don't know what's up with that. Like, look at how blurry that is from, like, even not that far of a distance. They're not supposed to be that low resolution. But yeah, I guess we should probably get to the actual objective, which for today is to make the second elevator be the exact same as this first one. So you guys are going to be able to see how I built this stupid thing. Although you have to build them bottom to top, so technically we can't even start here, but whatever. Let's go straight to the bottom and start where most things start, which is the game trying to force us to build from bottom to top instead of top to bottom, like you would in real life. Except I don't want to because that's lame. I don't know how I want to connect it to power here. It's also getting dark, which is kind of annoying. I could turn off global illumination for a bit, but whatever. I'll make it work. Okay, which height was this at? I think it's... Does it alternate here? Yes. I think it does. I can't tell. The flashlight won't reach. Yes, it alternates here at this floor, at the lower lift, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I'll have to do the same thing I did on the top floor here. That's a good reminder, actually. I need to redo that, but here instead. Conveniently, I finally automated silica, because apparently I didn't have it automated. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't when I went to build the original elevator and then ran out of silica and was very confused. Apparently I never automated silica, only quartz crystal, so, you know, now it's good to go. Okay, this is the other floor. Except these are raised by 1, right? Yes, because of the limitations of 196 and not 200, I had to raise these by 1 extra. That way the top one could get all the way to the top, because I needed to stretch it out 1 foundation up more, since it was calculated for 200 meters, but you can't actually do the full 200 or they break. So I had to raise it up 1. I obviously haven't decided what I want to do for the center bit. I don't know if I want to have like a slightly raised area. I don't know if I want to have like so on and so forth. I haven't really all planned out all of the new stuff that this is going to allow in my head yet. So I'm going to need some time to cook with all of this. But for now I want to get the elevators in, that way I can have a general idea of where they bring you and how to plan going forward. Now we got, I believe, one last elevator, because this is the one that goes all the way to the top, if I'm not mistaken. Because obviously there's 3 elevators all the way to the top. Then I'm going to have to put in all the individual stops. So if I squeeze through here, I can just do that. Nice. It is still so laggy when you're customizing certain things. They really need to improve that, but the thing is, I don't think they really can all that much. I think that's because of the new way that they are obviously storing foundations. They changed the way they're storing foundations in 1.0. Now, I do have this top one powered, so I guess I can probably do that. It's tedious work, but it's fun work once it all ends up working out. Okay, so I need to add this one in manually, obviously. It's not going to need power because this elevator is already powered. I'll deal with all the naming after. I'll just do that off camera because it's a pain. So, see, now it has 0, 164, and 196. I think technically no, our next stop is not 0. Shoot. Maybe start putting in practice the idea of maybe raising this up. I'll see how much I like it. I might just give it a little bit of a try and see if I like it or not. Worst case, can always just delete it and try again, which is the nice part about this game. It doesn't punish mistakes, which is fun, because most games do, and that's not fun. Right, of course there's just a giant gaping hole, because I forgot to fill this in. And then this side, what did I do? Okay, I did some weird thing for the power. I think that's the elevators done. I just need to name them, and then I need to do this bridge again. And that's that. I think that's everything. I don't think there's any other modifications I wanted to do. Obviously I need to rename all of these, but that's a project for another time, which I'm not going to do on the video. There is one last thing I want to do though, which is, before I forget, there is one place that I need to put a buffer stop. This is also new because now trains derail when they reach the end of a railway. You need to put buffer stops at the end now, or, you know, obviously they derail, which means I need to go put one of these. There's only one spot I know I need one, and that is on the giant train. This is definitely going to be a shorter, less eventful episode, but that's because that's kind of just what 1.1 is. It's a lot of quality of life we won't be using, and then elevators and vertical nudging. Those are the only two things out of 1.1 I'm going to be using. There's apparently been like slight performance improvements. Most of it just seems to be that RAM usage is a little bit lower if you don't have a lot of leftover capacity, so it compresses down even further. But usually when you're at that point, like for example on my laptop, it's basically unplayable anyways. So like the game is optimized to a point at this point where you usually run out of playable performance before the game can no longer optimize itself. Basically, the game is optimized enough that your PC will always be the failure point, never the game's optimization or the engine or anything. Your PC is the limit, not the game. This game is reflectant of the optimization on your PC instead of the optimization on the game. I haven't really been to this area much because, well, the video I showcased this in, no one watched. And I never come here. I avoid this area like the Black Plague, because once you load that train in, the performance halves and the game becomes basically unplayable. And I went straight past it because I thought it was on that end. But yeah, I need to put a buffer stop right here. That way my giant train doesn't derail if I try to store it. That's why it's not moving, because when it's moving, even if it never gets loaded in, it still just tanks the performance. Also, I've still got all the Christmas stuff here. I don't think I ever ended up uploading the Fixmas video, but I did record my Fixmas adventure. I was too busy doing the train to edit that video, to be honest. So there wasn't much reason for me to waste time doing that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll probably see you once we're off the experimental branch and into the actual full version of 1.1. So, see ya.